Sleepwalking, Chain Gang of 1974. Here, kicking it live on this Sunday Night Vibes. On the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. You're here with Brent. Like I said, on this Sunday Night Vibes. Tales of forbidden love. You've left me miserable, 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 miserable. Love. You've left me miserable, 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 miserable. Live here on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent. Kicking here with Sleepwalker by the Chain Gang of 1974. Yes. Welcome to the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent, kicking it here live on this Sunday Night Vibes. September 5th, 2021, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're on the West Coast, it's going to be 4 hours behind. So, anyway, Sunday Night Vibes is kind of more of a mellow type podcast that we have kicking in here for my listeners out there that are listening to me talk about anything and everything going on in the world or whatever you want to talk about. If you want to chime in, I'm live here on Spreaker.com. So definitely, if you want to send a message or you want to talk about a certain topic or anything here on Sunday Night Vibes on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show, you can definitely go ahead and go to Spreaker.com, look for the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. And that's going to be spelled KoolykOL Show. So, just wondering, how's everybody doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Also, if you're not, you can also follow us on our social media platforms at YouTube, the Koolykool Show. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Koolykool2412. You can follow me on TikTok, where I make a couple of videos, try to entertain people that way. It's also called the Koolykool Show. We're also live. Also, you can hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Podcasts as well. So, just, Well, actually, I have a little topic to tell you. I got hit with a, copyright infringement. It wasn't malicious. I didn't do it on purpose or anything like that. I don't know. I think it was an accident on my last podcast I had on conspiracy theories. But yeah, my last video, my podcast is still up. My podcast got put up. But I typically have my podcast automatically is downloaded onto YouTube, onto my YouTube channel. And if you listeners, you know about YouTube, a lot of the stuff has to do with copyright infringements and copyrights and things of that nature, as giving, back, whose material, whose work is that. And apparently, I guess one of my songs I had one song from Aaliyah, and apparently they hit me with that, and they were like, oh, you can't do that. So they blocked my entire video. So if you tried to search for my video on YouTube, conspiracy theories on my YouTube channel, it's not going to be there because of that. But the funny part about that is they blocked that. And any YouTubers will tell you everybody has some type of thing where they hit with a copyright or something like that, and they get hit with certain things. They totally blocked my entire video. And I'm not even a major player as far as I don't even, take videos and use other videos and then mix it and splice it in with my own videos from videos that I got from somebody else. I don't do that because, YouTube, they have it where sometimes people will take people's videos and then post it on their own channel. And as they post it on their own channel, then they will get views because that's a popular content or popular video. Now, for me, I don't do any of that. Typically, when I post my videos up, my videos are my own videos. Frankly, you look at my YouTube channel, it's going to be nothing but a bunch of podcasts that I have. And then furthermore, you look at my videos, it's all going to have a long list of like some of the video games that I play. They actually hit me with like a video game, like a copyright on a video game where I was playing a video game and I was actually trying to make a kind of a continuation of my progress and kind of a story mode that I was playing the game at. And then I would post it after recording it and I'd upload it to YouTube. I got hit with a couple copyrights in reference to that. I don't know how that happened. Basically I'm just showing people, hey, I'm playing this game, watch my progress, see how I'm going back. And then all of a sudden, next thing I see on there is like, oh, you were, you had a little bit of this. And I was like, I didn't even realize that until I actually looked into the analytics of my videos for those videos. I say that I'm not getting many views on certain those videos because there's other, YouTubers who are better gamers than I am, and they get millions of people to follow them and watch their stuff and all the time. And basically, it's the same thing that they do is the same thing that I do, but yet I'm finding myself getting hit with certain things like that, and I don't understand. For music and copyright, I understand that you always have to want to give credit to those persons that created those songs and those song titles. Give credit where credit is due. Don't plagiarize. As they tell you, you go to college, don't be plagiarizing. So like, oh, I wrote this myself. Oh, really? You wrote, Hamlet? You wrote Romeo and Juliet? I'm like, yeah, of course you did. Why is it verbatim exactly what Shakespeare had written? And be like, I don't know, So, that ended up happening to me. If, like I say, if you're trying to look for it, you just have to go to my podcast on Spreaker.com and you can look it up that way. But like I said, I wasn't at all trying to, copy anything or not give credit at all. It's kind of like a little intro. That's why the first intro of the song was Sleepwalking by the Chain Gang of 1974. But I try to get a little oomph because, I could start my podcast. I like this. My own. Now this is my own version of starting my own podcast with my own beat, my own music. And, I just want to see how many people might think this actually kind of sounds and if it sounds all right. So you let me know in the comments or whatever, or you can, like I said, let me know in the chat and see what you guys think about it. So here's my own rendition of how I should have an intro. I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm trying to lean into it, but I need some feedback because I'm not only entirely sold on my own musical arts. So here it is. Here's what I would say my intro will be. On the Koolykool show, yeah. Does it sound good? Does it sound good? Because I think it sounds like shit. So, that's just me. I think I need to probably work on it a little bit more and try to actually fine tooth comb it. Or I could just go and try to have some good credible music, or get somebody, or find somebody who can actually make some music for me that can kind of fit my kind of way I like to have my show set up, sort of. That's the the listeners are listening to me right now. Give me some feedback. Let me know. Definitely would love to hear from each and every one of you. Definitely, leave me a message or something. Golly, goodness gracious. So, if you hadn't been told this already, I hope each and every one of you are doing absolutely fantastic, or doing well. Hope your weekend is doing well. It is it's going to be Labor Day come tomorrow. I hope everybody has a safe and a wonderful, long weekend of the Labor Day weekend. I know children are back into schools. And some are going to be back in. The rest of the kids are going to be back in school after Labor Day. I know a lot of parents are extremely happy that finally get the kids back into the classroom. And it seems like a long, long, long summer with kids being out because of the past school year with COVID-19 having, pretty much kept the kids out of the schools, and they had to learn virtual. We were all working together in this major worldwide pandemic. So we all had to do it. It's like hands, it was a holding hands across the world. And we all have to hold hand. Well, I don't know about this point. I think that's going to be kind of stricken off the books at that point, because people are going to be like, holding hands? I don't think so. 6 feet, and I'll act like I'm holding your hand, and then we can go from there, buddy. So, yeah. Hands across America, or hands across the world. Yeah, it's called, no. I mean, is anybody kind of thinking about maybe this, the way we think things are going? Is anybody kind of thinking that, might be like some of the movies kind of have foreshadowed certain events or certain things kind of leaning in the direction this, but watching it, you're kind of just being entertained by it, but there's a hidden message or possibly hidden agenda in it. Like, for instance, the reason why I said that is because if anybody has watched the movie with Sylvester Stallone in the movie Demolition Man, which is he's a cop. Apparently he does something, then he gets frozen, and then he gets brought out of being frozen like some odd years down in the future where everything's completely different. And I remember as he's thawed out or whatever, he's put back to the force and he's back to his job. And one of the guys, I think it was Rob Schneider, who's in the film. Yeah, Rob Schneider in the film. And he says something like, hey, and he holds his hand up, and in the future, physical contact, physical touching, any of that sort is not permittable. It's not something that they do. It's kind of like, oh no, they don't do it anymore. And what do you end up seeing? Sylvester Stallone goes up, he's like, hey, what's up? Boom, gives him a handshake, whatever. He's like, yeah, what's up? And Rob Schneider's like, oh my God, he touched my hand. He's like, kind of like, what the hell? At the same time, he's baffled because there's no physical contact in that movie that they don't have. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you can, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, even compared with, with the headgear on and, Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock tall. And yeah, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I don't know, but I do have a question. If anybody out there listening can actually help me with this, how the hell does the 3 seashells work? They said it's supposed to work as far as going to the bathroom, and Sylvester Stallone had actually said, the 3 seashells, don't know how to, and they were making fun of him because he didn't know how to do the 3 seashells. And obviously, if you go number 2, and they didn't use toilet paper, so I'm just wondering, can anybody elaborate on the 3 seashells? And if the 3 seashells are going to be reused again, how you do it? Or was it one of the director's things, just add something crazy in there and have the people 20, 30 years down the line still try to figure the shit out? So, let's, I do have some topics of this Sunday night vibe that I do like to talk about and just try to, see where everybody's thinking. If anybody has any, thought process in reference to, any of this. So the one of the first one I came across, the news, and this is coming livescience.com. And I'm not kidding when I read this article. They were pretty serious. I mean, it's a lengthy kind of article in reference to it. So Live Science had said that China wants to build a mega spaceship that's nearly a mile long. Yes, if you didn't hear me again. So, I said, China wants to build a mega spaceship that's nearly a mile long, and they want to put it in outer space in orbit. Man. Whew. All I got to say is, every time I hear certain things like this, the one song from the old 1950s or the 40s, in the diner, sitting at the table with your girl, and you're drinking the cherry pop soda, and you're sharing the same strong, and then it's like, dream, 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 dream All I wanna do is dream. And that's what I hear when I hear crazy shit. Just as what I had read. And I know somebody's like, how is he finding out about this? Well, I mean, I just happened to search certain things and just look through things and I read through it. And I came across that. It said China wants to build a spaceship that's nearly a mile long. Now, I guess their thought process is if they had the kind of starship in the movies, like the movie Starship Trooper, why the hell can't they have it in reality? And I'm going to give them an A for effort in thinking and trying to come up with the possibilities on trying to accomplish that. That is outstanding. But as far as our own technology and trying to get that done within our lives, I'm going to give that a huge F, because a mile long with our own technologies, I mean, right now we're at the early beginning stages of any type of, I want to say close to trying to be a modernized in the space era. I mean, hell, we went to space and went to the moon in the 60s, and then we completely kind of laid off and came up with a space shuttle program in the 80s and the 90s. And then we just totally dismissed the space shuttle program altogether come the end of the 90s and the early 2000s, and just say, we're going to scrap that shit. And we're going to go back to the Soyuz spaceship, which is made from the Russian cosmonauts who were using their stuff to get to space. And then now we're getting into I kept saying the wrong word. We're getting now into the part where commercial space flight industries want to have their hand in the cookie jar in order to do their own space traveling. But it's kind of like, what? And I mean, there's a lot of what? I mean, SpaceX has apparently have a reverse thruster spaceship landing where it's actually pretty cool if you actually see it in the videos. It's a rocket. It goes right like up the rocket. It's fly straight out and everything. But as it descends down back to Earth onto this landing platform, the belly part, whichever side of the part, I don't know what it is. All I know is this shit is completely fucking huge. So you'd have to have a ton of thrust, a ton of huge ingenuity, and a ton of smart people, smarter than me, that has to come up with these calculations in order for the belly part of that rocket to come down, and you'll see it comes down on the belly side, and then it inverts, going to be standing up vertical, and with the amount of thrusters, it is able to land back down, standing straight up vertically. It's awesome. It's cool, but this is the early stage of development for any type of space, coolness. I mean, you couldn't say anything better, but at the same time, I'm living in the point of now reality. Like, stuff is going to probably pick up, but it's not going to pick up until, I'd give at least about a couple other 100 years, because a lot of stuff with this comes down to funding, and that's the main key to all this stuff. I mean, they just had the billionaires go flying out, not to outer space, but the last layer, to get into outer space, to like the stratosphere or something like that. And like I said, they're not even in outer space. They're just like on the tip top, part. And they're billionaire and they're risking their lives. But anyway, kind of got off topic because I have so much stuff running through my mind. So China wants to build a starship that's like a mile long. They're investigating how to build an ultra-large spacecraft. So the foundation wants the scientists to conduct research into new lightweight design methods that could limit the amount of construction material that has to be lofted into orbit. And new technologies for safely assembling such massive structures in space. this is where construction is going to be continuous. But like I said, if this is going to be any point where we're going to see stuff like we see in the movies, like the Starship Enterprise or the Starship Troopers type of fucking, spaceships and spacecrafts, we're not going to see it at our lifetime. We're going to see it 100 plus years. It's probably going to be in the realm of, them rockets or them asteroids that are supposed to come hit Earth in the year 2160 to 2170. And like I said, they want to go ahead and, like I said, in November, that's when I read the article. Well, not when I read it, but that's when they want to start launching some rockets in November up into the outer space to hopefully divert this asteroid. By that time, they hopefully will knock it off its course. But now they're just adding extra, fuel, I guess, to the glass of wine, so to speak. And they just kind of divert their attention to wanting to build a spaceship. I don't know. And here's this: if funded, the feasibility study would run for 5 years and have a budget of 15 million yen, which equals out into American dollars, $2.3 million. So, I mean, you gotta have funding. You gotta have people funding these projects and you have people to research it, because you can say, hey, we're going to get the research on the ground. Well, first you're going to have people actually research the shit. And the way to today's society is, people are not going to research jack shit for free. People are going to want to have a little compensation for their studies, because in their studies, they're going to need a way to start. And they're going to need some possible materials, which means they're going to need money other than the money they're getting to do the research. So they're going to need extra funds in order, extra funds in order to conduct, experiments. And this is not part of the extra materials. This is to do experiments to ensure that they're doing well, and the guidelines are set and things like that. And in the midst of this, there is going to be failures in the experiments, because as we know as well, it's not everything tends to work out with experimentations on certain things. So, things are wrong. That experiment cost that much. In order to redo this experiment, you're going to have to more funding and more money that has to be dished out, other than the person who is going to be doing the research. They're not going to use their own money. No, they're going to want to live comfy and do the things. They're going to have time to be with their family and friends and their significant others. They do their own thing. So that's going to be, timelines going to be pushed a little more, because obviously you're going to have people have their own, lives they have to deal with, and things are going to come up, and, hey, just because they want to buy a brand new house, get a new car, things like that. Oh, and these things are always going to get consistently pushed back. But in the midst of this, they're going to need the money, the funding, and you wonder where this funding is going to come from. It's going to come from the people. It always has to come from the people, because guess what? How else is this shit going to get done regardless or not? You have to have funding in order to get anything off the ground, and you're going to have people to support it. But that's just me saying, don't. If you think I'm a crazy wackadoo person, I'm only a person talking with just a little bit of common sense. Just a little bit of common sense, so that you, the listeners, are out there, are kind of understanding where I might be coming from. You don't have to agree with me 100%, but I'm coming from about, hopefully, we're meeting halfway. You know what I'm saying? We're meeting halfway. Okay. So, another part of the article had said the project might sound like a science fiction. Former NASA chief technologist Mason Peck said, idea isn't entirely off the wall. So basically saying it's not off the wall. It's not crazy. It's actually kind of could be feasible, and it could be there. He says, I think it's entirely feasible. Yes, anything's entirely feasible given the amount of time to complete it. Like I said, we're not going to see it, but I'm pretty sure that asteroid that's supposed to be coming between 2160 and 2170, they might see it. I'm just putting it out there. And at the same time, they're just saying by that time they should have plasma rays, a Death Star, Darth Vader. I mean, the Force should be able to push that asteroid away. And hell, it's just going to raise everything up and, and it's easy to float anything out of space at that point in time. I'm just saying, But one of the other part of the article said the price tag. Biggest challenge. That's just what I just had said like 2 minutes ago. The funding, where are they getting the money from? Because I'm telling you, the money is, it's got to be there somewhere. But, we're just going to leave that to a little bit of figure it out if you think it's going to be true or not. But that's what I heard. That's what they were saying. Then they had part that says, big spaceships, big problems. Well, big spaceships a mile long do create big problems. I mean, if you're going to say we're going to have that, then guess what? We should just dismiss certain countries. We should all just be together, just like the movie Starship Troopers. We should all be one whole thing called the Federation. That's what they had in there. I mean, they had kids in the movie who were living in Buenos Aires that you could tell they looked like they were from some hometown place in, California, that's the only way you kind of would see something. And that's just a moderate pace of them getting to where they were. I think, what did they said? 20-some century, something. I remember one of the songs or something. But yeah. Big spaceship, big problems. More like it's going to be a big problem because every time I keep coming across certain things like that, I keep hearing some insanely crazy shit. But I don't know. So, well, I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to go get something to drink. Like I always usually say at my halfway point, I'm going to go get something to drink. And I want you guys to stick right back with us. Got a little bit more we could chat with and come up with some other stuff we could talk about here on this Sunday night vibes here on the Koolest, the Koolykool show. So I'm going to play this song. You probably already heard him. Nike's on My Feet by Mac Miller. So stay tuned with us. Be right back. I'm going to go get something to drink. And we'll see you in just a short bit here on the Koolest of the Koolykool show.
And the Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete. Nikes and the Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete. Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete.
Hey, lace 'em up, lace 'em up, lace 'em up, lace 'em. Blue suede shoes stay crispy like bacon. Nikes on my feet make my cipher complete. I stay shining like the lights on the street in the night. Revis take me shopping when I'm up in New York. Hit the shoe store, go and cop a few more. You at the mall getting dinner at the food court. I'm in LA eating 22 course. Young boss, bitch, paper in my pockets. I got a closet filled with shoe boxes. Mom said my spending habit a little bit obnoxious, but a pilot stayed fresh up in his cockpit. Used to rock hand-me-downs. Now buy some clothes, wear 'em out. Hit the club, bitches pull their cameras out. Living in a dream, they beginning to believe. My hotel smell like cigarettes and weed. Shit, with what I'm spitting, they should give me a degree. Good liquor, what I'm sipping isn't cheap. Finna blow, don't snooze, don't sleep. All I really need is some shoes on my feet.
And the Nikes on my feet keep my cipher complete.
Yes, we're back here live on the Koolest of the Koolykool show. You're listening right now. Nike's on the Feet by Mac Miller. Ooh. Woo! Yeah, I went and got me something to drink. Tasted good. So, here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent. You're kicking it here live on this Sunday Night Vibes. You can also make sure you can follow us on our social media platforms. We're also on my YouTube channel, the Koolykool Show. You can also follow me on TikTok. I'm the Koolykool Show. You can also follow me on Twitter at Koolykool2412, where I do usually post every time I'm getting ready to go live. And I do it too, T-minus like 5 minutes left to just kind of get people interested. You know, I'm just trying to get people interested and trying to say what they want. Be like, Gomer, you know, yes, try to get people. But, you know, that's what I try to do. There's nothing to it, I guess. So, we last left off talking about space and, you know, them building a starship that's about a mile long. So, and that comes into question with a lot of things. I don't know. But space and doing things and the research and the funding for a lot of stuff does really do a lot of good for people. Like, for instance, SpaceX is cleared for historic civilian launch coming next week. This is what I read so far. Don't know how accurate it is, but this is what they had posted. SpaceX is cleared for historic civilian launch next week. All civilian crews to space next week on a 3-day journey around the Earth that will benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. I think that is an absolutely phenomenal thing. I think that's an awesome thing that they're going to be doing. Most likely a lot of the stuff that's going into this is going to go to Children's Research Hospital. And if you do know about her or about St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, they do a lot of good. Definitely, you know, it's just remarkable how the great things that St. Jude has helped out with so many children across the world, not just let alone here in the United States. It's one of the most premier children's hospitals around the world. Like I said, they do a really good job. They do an awesome job and to try and help children, because as they said in the song, they said, children are our future, because if you're an adult now, you know at the point in time you're going to get older, and guess what? The children of who are now are going to be the ones running and moving and getting things going and taking care of us, because we're going to be old. So, like I said, that to me is remarkable. That SpaceX, like I said, SpaceX, they have a lot of good things. SpaceX is owned by Elon Musk. You know, I think the way this, to me, a lot of stuff with space and space companies trying to accelerate and get things going and to perform highly into space it's a good thing. It really is. You know, sometimes I may joke around with it and say, blah, 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 but in reality, I think it's a really good thing, because you actually have to have certain individuals, certain people actually to come up with an idea in order to make certain things happen. You know, that's how you can get off anything. Think about the first person who thought about, said, you know what, I am tired of walking. Well, I'm going to ride this animal. They decided to ride the horse. You know, they'd be like, come here, horse, get over here. And they took over the horse. And then they were like, this is much better than having to walk this long couple miles on my feet. And then somebody eventually says, you know what, the horse is getting the job done, but I want to get somewhere faster. I want to get somewhere quicker, you know. And they come up with they came up with a train. They're like, okay, well, we could put a whole bunch of people on here and we get the train going, and we get there half the time as having to take a horse. Get there a lot quicker. And then eventually people's like, you know what? I really don't want to ride the train with a bunch of other people, because somebody next to me, Jim Bob over here, he's smelling and he smells like butt, and I don't want to sit next to him. So I'd rather be somewhere I'm in a personalized kind of, you know, mobile mode of I can't talk today. personalized, thing that can get me to go mobile without me having to walk, without having to take a horse, and without having me sit next to Jim Bob, who's smelling and stinking up the joint, who smelled like salted onions. And then next time somebody says, "Hey, I bought this car. You can take this car in the luxury of your own privacy, your own convenience." And the cars weren't fast back then, but guess what? They got you where you needed to go, and then at the evolution of cars, things got faster and things like that. And we're at the stage we're at today. So it does take an idea, it does take an individual or multiple to come up with certain visions that they see that could benefit the world in developing certain things. It will happen. It just takes so long. We all want to hear the nows, now, the now. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Things have to be developed. Things have to be brought up. Things have to be actually kind of put in place. I mean, but, I do have, I do have a kind of thought process. It's like, the dark ages back in the day, the medieval time. Well, let me just retract a little bit. Now, as far as I guess we can say for the most part on what was the one main civilization or government or organization that ruled the world at one point in time, so to speak, that we know, Roman Empire. Dominated everything. Was you bow down to me, running things from head to toe, and then obviously they didn't eventually fall. And they ruled for 300 some years, and I mean they had amazing arts, the politics that they had running water, they had aqueducts that was well beyond their times, but they had it during their time. They had bathhouses. They had just amazing things that were such an engineering feat. And then we go into like the medieval times and then the dark ages, and it's like they regress and they just didn't build upon the stuff that happened. It's like a lost period of time in history or something like that. Just too many people just didn't like people. And there's like, I don't give a damn about you. I didn't give a damn about you. Sometimes you do have to kind of question, where was the thought process as far as how history goes and what happens? I mean, obviously certain things in history weren't discovered yet. Certain things weren't developed yet. Certain things just didn't come up yet. But then some other times you kind of think they were well ahead, and then it went to a complete regress in everything that, they were building upon. So it's like, what the hell happened? Were they just too busy saying, let the good times roll, and then be like, dude, can we like get on with this to make shit like a lot better for us? And then they was like, shut up, bow down to me before the king, and you're like, what the hell's going on? I mean, I don't know. Think about it. The invention of the gun has probably been in the works for probably the longest time, because they had gunpowder back in the day, but nobody had a gun, so to speak. Might have been a modified version of looks like a small handheld pipe, but even that was kind of scarce because you could only put so much in there. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, a lot of things is crazy. I don't even know where this discussion is going at this point. I'm starting talking about history instead. What the hell, But I don't know. I mean, but it is good to talk about anything because, like I said, it's on this Sunday night vibe. It's usually Sunday nights, usually kind of just chill, just talk whatever's going on. I try to find a topic that's kind of interesting or might be in or funny. That hopefully, if you're listening, hopefully I made you laugh. If I didn't make you laugh, god damn it, But it's all for the good, for entertainment. And it's just to I guess the key to happiness is laughter. Not all the time, but sometime. So it's like my dad, he'd always say when I went to school, he's like, did you laugh at least once today when you went to school? I was like, yeah, I laughed every day when I went to school. And that's from elementary, junior high, and high school. I laughed all the time. Because you know why? Because somebody was always doing something freaking stupid. Because it's just the fun times. If you're a person who says, I went to high school, I never laughed once. I hated the experience. People got on my nerves. I guess you're not having fun with everything that's going on. You're taking things a little bit too serious. Sometimes you gotta kind of step back and just relax and chill. And that's what I hope that if you listen to my podcast, and you just take a step back and relax, listen to some goofy stuff that I say, don't take things too seriously. Just let it know that, hey, relax. It's just to listen to me talk and rant about craziness, and that the CIA and NSA are probably tapping your phones and listening to everything I'm saying. So, just don't worry about it. They're not listening to you. Trust me. You're not tapping into this podcast by chance, because I talk about how, maybe the alien talk and it's gotten kind of quiet now. There's no way they're not listening to me, trying to figure out what I'm doing. Even though it's kind of funny, they blocked my video all of it. So, just saying. But, just don't take yourself too serious. Let the good times roll. Have fun. Be safe at the same time. Things will happen. Things are going to happen. So, the song Under Your Spell by Desire. If you hear that song on my podcast, that means we are coming to a close on my podcast here, live on the Koolest of the Kool, the Koolykool show. And especially with it being Sunday, I want everybody to have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. Don't have too much fun. Have a little bit controlled fun. But at the same time, I want each and every one of you, thank you for listening to my podcast here live on the Koolest of the Kool, the Koolykool show. Be sure to like and subscribe to us. Follow us on the Koolykool show on the YouTube channel. Follow me on TikTok at the Koolykool show. Also follow me on Twitter for all the latest updates and anything like that at Koolykool2412. You can also follow me on Instagram at Brent the Champ. So I'd like to say thank you for listening to my podcast. Have a safe and happy weekend on this Labor Day, and thank you for listening. Take care. Bye. You're here live on the Koolest of the Kool, the Koolykool show.
Hey, yeah? I was wondering, do you know the difference between love and obsession? No. And what's the difference between obsession and desire? I don't know. Do you think this feeling can last forever? You mean like forever, ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Sure. God, I hope so.